Hey guys, welcome back, it's Maverick here, and today we are watching the grand finale of BEASTARS Season 2. So, last episode we left on quite a bit of a cliffhanger, right? Two, in fact. One is whether or not Riz has actually killed and eaten, Pino. Sorry, Pina. For some reason, I keep on wanting to call Pina Pino. I think it's because to me, Pina sounds Spanish, whereas Pino sounds Italian. And for some reason, you know, Pina's character, I don't know, he just gives me some Italian vibes, right? Maybe it's because of being this, being this very romantic lover, I guess you could say, or something of that sort. But anyways, Pina. I don't really think Riz did that. I think he just in some way extracted some blood and spirit over him and whatnot. So we'll see, right? We'll see. I mean, if he did just kill Pino like that, I think it would be a rather unceremonious death, but we will see, right? And then of course we also have Louis about, you know, driving into a tunnel and then hearing gunshots. Come on. Louis is one of the main characters. He's not gonna die from this. So, anyways, let's just get into the episode and see where we end up for this season. Alright, so let's start at the beginning this time from the opening and begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Oh. Actually, well, I guess I chose a good time to start from this, because this is actually the ending as the opening. So that means we're not having an ending this time? Well, this typically does mean something, right? I mean, consider we ended the last episode with these two. Although, again, I still have no idea why he needs to, why the dude feels he needs to kill Louis. Or even imply that he needs to do something like that. You know, something I do really appreciate very much is how both the opening and the endings from both seasons actually tie in very much with, you know, the story at hand. The lyrics seems like they are written directly for the show, and in fact, I think it's probably possible that they were. Boom. Hmm? Oh. I don't. Why though? Again, why was any of this necessary? Yeah, he's trying to smell. Yeah. It's like, no, he's over there. See? Holy shit. 2 kilo. Yeah. Well, the ways you yearn for them is quite different, I gotta say. Now, honestly, a bear's strength. If you guys really want to talk about how carnivores can tear off herbivores' limbs, bears can absolutely bite through wolves as well. Or actually, bears bite strength. Maybe not using their jaws though. The power of the butterfly. Yeah. I feel like this is much more realistic than, you know, the lion fight last season. Okay, so Louis is gonna be like the moral support for Legacy. Oof! Oof! And see, once again, he's just playing with him. Ooh! Okay, so you are crazy. That's why he can't sleep at night, right? The hell? Well, I can't say I hate this.
解するよ。肉食獣が爪や牙を持つのは捕食するために他ならないのさ。君の味も僕は一生忘れないだろう。いや、リズ、俺たちの爪や牙は大切なものを守るためにあるんだ。
Oh. There we go, Louis.
随分楽しんでるな、ルイ先輩。ひどいありさまだな。やはり食殺なんて見れたもんじゃない。うるさい。
Damn. Like she's like, I must protect my beloved senpai. Ooh. They're gone just like that, eh? Oh, sorry for all the sniffles. I kind of have an allergy right now. Legacy, you are quite stubborn, aren't you? Okay, so Louis like, he needs to talk him down. Well, no, he's broken as well. In the end, this turned out to be the most effective way. Alright. Well, they do say the people who hide their emotions the most, when the emotions come, it's like a flood. Again, I don't understand that entire Ibuki scene, though. I think, if I were to guess right now, Pina is probably gonna call some reinforcements or whatnot. Like, I don't know, the entire drama club or something like that?
それじゃ限界があるってもう自分でも分かってるだろ。建前はたくさんだ。
Riz absolutely knows they're up here, right?
この数字は俺の呪いだ。呪いを解いてくれ、レゴシ。ひどいです、ルイ先輩。でもあのルイ先輩がとうとう晒してくれた弱さ、ここで俺が受け止めなくては。あなたに頼まれたから食べたなんて言い訳、俺はしたくないです、ルイ先輩。食肉と一切の縁を切り、自分は無害な狼への道を着実に切り開いていると、そう思っていた。俺がルイ先輩を食べたいから食べます。この場ではそれでいいでしょうか。お前がそれ
I'm I'm sorry, but this.
決して無駄にはしないと。
What the actual?
君も手段を選ばないな。まさか食べたのか、あのルイ先輩を。知らなかった。君とルイ先輩は
What? He really ate him? Or at least his leg?
ルイ先輩も天国でそう言ってる。
No.
ルイ先輩はここに、そして俺の中に。行けレゴシ。
Holy shit, yeah. He ate his foot.
あなたの一部は確かに体内でみなぎっている。まるで禁断の魔法だ。俺は今夜で魔法を使い切る。
Yeah, but even though, like, this. Again, in terms of raw strength, a wolf cannot. Well, then again, he has the power of being a protagonist, so. Let's see.
肉食獣と草食獣の絆。僕の友情は報われなかった。だからこそどんな思いよりも強いと思っていた。なのに食っても食われても、この2匹の絆はより強く固く。
Honestly, I feel like this is all sorts of messed up, but okay, I definitely was not expecting this.
せめて生きている時に伝えれば何か変わっただろうか。
Oh,
テム、ありがとうと。
that's like a Bruce Lee punch.
リズ、
Huh?
年明けたみたいだぞ。
What?
明けましておめでとうな。決闘中に言うのもなんだけど。君の勝ちだよ、レゴシ君。この1年壊れ続けてた心が今夜息を吹き返してる。
What?
肉を食ってもなおそんな綺麗な目をする男がいるかい。成立するんだな、肉食と草食の本物の友情は。おいリズ、こういう時俺はどんな言葉をかけるんだっけ。高圧的な言葉、相手を萎縮させる言葉。違う、もう借り物の言葉で肉食獣と向き合わない。お前のしたことは許されることじゃないが、お前の孤独に気づいてやれなかったのは
Or meat tasted good. Of course. Honestly, I know this is like very true and pure friendship and all that, but you know, if you really want to make it turn into like sexual undertones and whatnot, I feel like there's plenty of that as well. Oh, is that the police? Hey, okay. I'll bet Pina was the one who called him. Oh. Wait, is this the same place we ended season 1? Huh. Wait, when they say they saved Louis, does it mean that they were able to reattach his leg? No, he ate it into it's in his stomach. Probably just save him from blood loss, right? Okay, I actually didn't realize there was a song going on in the background at this moment. Wait, is this the end of the manga as well? Or is it just starting? I feel like there's so much stuff that's What in the actual Okay. I will see you guys after this then. Well, now, that is the end to season 2. And what can I say? It ended pretty much as expected, with Riz getting arrested more than anything and not being killed, right? I don't think it would really be in character for Legoshi to kill Riz or something like that. You know, Riz having to face his crimes, and in the end, you know, Legoshi was able to prove that his way of life is more correct, I guess you could say, or at the very least, let allow his philosophy, you know, his thinking to win out over Riz, right? With Riz admitting that he lost and Legoshi wins, and by convincing him with his relation with Legoshi's relationship with Louis there, right? Um, and speaking of which, speaking of that, I definitely did not expect Louis to, or I definitely did not expect Legoshi to actually devour a part of Louis, right? That was totally unexpected. And wow, that's mental. So, or sorry, I should say. Well, that's mental and metal at the same time. But you know, one thing that I do appreciate out of all this is also the fact that even with all those power ups and whatnot and his training, Legoshi could not go up against a bear, right? That was one of my main gripes from season 1, which is where Legoshi took on the entirety of the Shishigumi group by himself, or of course with Guan as well, but Legoshi was actually using his melee combat at that point instead of Gohan, who was using weapons and stuff, right? Against like it's the same sort of they're really not of the same weight class, right? A wolf is never going to be able to fight a bear one-on-one, and a wolf is also never going to be able to fight a lion one-on-one. Like, no. All right, unless he gets they get to jump on him and so on and so forth. But anyways, so I do like that. Even with all that, Legoshi was not able to overpower Rez. To me, that's a depiction of realism that I appreciate here, which is more than I can say for a lot of, or maybe not a lot, but some of the other things that the author has chosen to do. And by the way, since we're on the topic of Legoshi and Louis, can I just say that, I know that they're not trying to go for this, like, Legoshi loves Haru, Louis loves Haru, and whatnot, but still, with all the stuff that people are talking about, how, like, Legoshi wagging his tail for Louis, and then, all the, and then we had the entire Tam and Rez thing, which is also kind of ambiguous and whatnot. You definitely have to feel that there are some sexual undertones with the dialogue and whatnot, even if it's not purposely trying to do so. I don't know. I feel like they are purposely trying to have this level of ambiguity to appease certain fans that swing that way, right? So like, I don't know. I feel like it's definitely not just me, and I mean, if you guys don't feel it, then fine. But I definitely feel like they're trying to at least make it so that there is a possibility of some other stuff happening, right? Even though that's not really the main focal point of the story or the relationships or whatnot. So at this point, all we can say is that, hey, Louis and Legoshi really had a heart to heart, and I'm actually quite unsure what it will continue to do, like, if the story continues to go on. Like, again, I haven't read the manga. I don't know how far the manga is along. I'm assuming that there's more story even after the end here, but now that Louis has kind of sort of dropped his character, is it, how is that going to work going forward, right? Hard to say, but yeah. Anyways, that was definitely a great little, I do like the juxtaposition between Louis and Legoshi's relationship versus Rez and Tim, right? It was definitely a juxtaposition of, one succeeding, one failing, and I love that it also culminated into actually devouring a part of herbivores. Even if I still think the entire, this entire setting and this entire, because we have this level of trust so I can devour you, is really, really unsettling and really crazy, but hey, it's entertaining, and we watch anime to be entertained, right? So I gotta give it that. What else was I talking about? Okay, so the main thing about this episode that I'm really having my trouble wrapping my head around is the Ibuki scene, right? Where Louis, I still don't understand why Ibuki had to die. That's basically it, right? He knew, like, no, he certainly, with the opening, or I guess the ending, if you could say, and all the dialogue that we've had in the past and whatnot, we definitely get the feeling that Ibuki, his life, the way he sees life and whatnot has changed since he met Louis, right? I think that's what it's trying to imply. So with all that being said, why did he have to die instead of just allowing Louis to go and then, just taking it as that, right? The only explanation I have right now is, they are operating under a sort of mafia setting, and the cliche is, once you enter this life, once you enter this family, you don't betray your family, right? If we're going with the Italian mafia kind of rules, or really, I think, worldwide, these type of mafia rules, it's that once you enter it, you can't really get out, right? So I guess it's going for that kind of angle here, and I'm assuming that what it's implying is that Ibuki views, this system, this family, this mafia, this Shishigumi group as much more important, the ideals that it's trying to uphold, the protection of the group, much more than than any single person, right? So even if Louis is the boss, he still has to do his things. You can't break the code, you can't go back on your word, you can't turn your back on the group and whatnot, right? And also, I think this also implies that, because one of my questions last episode was like, why can't Louis just go and see Legoshi, see that battle through and still remain the boss of the Shishigumi, right? But I think what it's trying to imply here is that Louis really wants out, right? It's not just the fact that he wants to, I feel like last episode didn't really make it clear, right? Louis not only wants to go and he cares for Legoshi and whatnot, and he wants to see his duel, and he wants to also prevent him from dying, but in essence, he also really wants out of the Shishigumi group as well, right? he wants to return to his normal school life and whatnot. And so I guess, we have to take that as a prerequisite as well. And the Ibuki scene, well, I guess in a way, throughout the second season, we've had this battle of convictions, right? What you believe in, what your convictions are, and you really see it through, even if it means costing your life, right? It's the same as Riz, who really wants to who wants to duke it out by what he believes should be the relationship between carnivores and herbivores. Legoshi was certainly completely willing to sacrifice his life in order to prove his point as well. And so I feel like Ibuki probably is of the same manner as well, right? Because in a way you could argue, so how come Free doesn't is able to allow Louis to go, and he doesn't need to hunt him down for betraying the group or something like that, right? So, I think it is a difference in convictions and whatnot. Free probably doesn't take this as seriously or as at heart as Ibuki does. That's my way of interpreting it. Or I guess you could also say that a life for a life, if somebody is willing to die for someone who's leaving, then I guess that allows them to leave. Like, maybe there's an unspoken rule of that or something of that sort. I feel like maybe this is better explained in the manga or something of that. But I guess at my best, the best I can do is to think of these two explanations as to why this turned out this way. Which, again, I feel like is a goddamn shame. Ibuki certainly is, whatever he did in the past, he's certainly turning out into a very a very reliable, a solid guy, a solid bro, who's really hardworking and does his utmost for the group and whatnot, right? So it's really sad that it had to come to this. I still think it's a goddamn shame, but hey, if that is his way of life, then so be it, right? We can only respect his decision here. So, anyways, we are at the end of this. I don't know if there's a season 3 or not. I probably should have checked first before that. Let me try to check this at the same time right now. But anyways, so let's talk a little bit about BEASTARS as a whole, right? And by the way, so that ending there, I do kind of wonder if having the having a criminal record now on Legoshi is going to cause problems in the future. Like, potentially there are some misunderstandings that could happen once we meet new characters or get into new situations. But I guess it's kind of too early to talk about that. So, let's talk about this series as a whole, right? Like, definitely, if you guys have been following since season 1, I really, really love the sort of, the story that it's trying to tell here, right? Using basically different animals, and using herbivores and carnivores as, to me, I feel like it's a sort of microcosm talking about racial racism or battle of races or whatnot, like a microcosm of the real world and whatnot, and doing it without actually offending any actual race in the real world. So I do think it's quite a clever way to breach these kind of topics whilst doing it in a neutral manner here, right? So I do love that the sort of teenage drama, the romance and whatnot. I think it's pretty well done. Certainly it's to me it's over dramatized a little bit, but hey, it gives me a lot of shoujo manga kind of feel, right? That this sort of like triangle relationship, multi-way relationship and whatnot, that kind of thing. But I do enjoy it, used sparingly, and it didn't really turn into an annoying part of the story or whatnot, like so many misunderstandings that that pile up on each other. So I feel at this point it's still at a pretty reasonable level to keep it entertained, but not to the point where it's overstaying its welcome, right? The various other like developments, if you will, I was certainly pleasantly surprised by a lot of them. I'm still not entirely sold on Legoshi's, his convictions, his way of life and whatnot, but he is the main character, and at the very least, he is willing to, he's willing to walk his way of life. He's willing to die for his way of life, and as we can see here, through the last few episodes, he is willing to make some compromises as well, right? I think I talked about this right in the last episode when Legoshi devoured those bugs and whatnot, and I was like, I feel like this is a slippery slope. Once you do that, who's to say that you can't eventually start eating actual meat, right? And here, yeah, again, Louis offered him to Legoshi of his own volition, but still Legoshi accepted that, right? Whereas in the past, he was like, I will never eat meat, right? So, I do actually like that Legoshi is also, as he is growing, as he gets into the situations, he realizes that, okay, so there's some part that is way too idealistic. There's a way to uphold your ideals while still compromising some or making a compromise with some other details instead, right? So I do feel like Legoshi grew there. Louis definitely grew as well. We finally see some cracks in his armor. He's showing his true self, and maybe going to be a bit better adjusted, I guess you could say. Even though I still feel like I do like his original personality, just the way it was, right? Really the only, and even with the sort of this really hilarious and ridiculous battle between Legoshi and Rez here, like, even with all that, I was quite entertained as well, because again, I feel like these two are not entirely, they're unsure, if you will, right? So it's not, even though it seems like a battle to the death, these two actually don't know if they want to battle to the death or whatnot, right? They're really, they're adolescents. They're growing up. They're learning of their own emotions and whatnot. Their place in the world, how herbivores and carnivores are supposed to have a relationship, all that kind of thing. So even with that, it's entertaining, it's hilarious, it's ridiculous, but it is all still good. Really, I have two main gripes with what we've seen so far over these episodes, right? And I mean, I'm sure if you guys have watched my videos, you'll probably know what I'm going to be talking about. For this season, my main gripe is that entire, a touch of a carnivore can knock off the arm of an herbivore kind of thing. Like, come on, guys, that is absolutely ridiculous. That doesn't happen in real life either. Your ligaments, your muscles are way stronger than that. Even with carnivores and herbivores in real life, you don't get that kind of, just because a bear touches you doesn't mean your arm is going to go flying off, okay? That makes absolutely no sense, and it makes less sense, in fact, within this story, where the power level of the characters or the animals are sort of restrained in a way, right? Like, again, it just doesn't make sense, right? I have no idea what the author was thinking when he put this in, or when he or she put this in, because it just doesn't make sense. And you could honestly you can make the same sort of situation with a much more believable kind of thing. I guess it was there for the shock value or something like that. I don't know, but to me, it's absolutely ridiculous. Okay, not to mention, if that was the case, then why don't I don't want to go too much into it. Like, there's so much wrong with that. Like, why hasn't society as a whole done more stuff to prevent this? What happens when Legoshi is tugging on Haru's arm or whatnot all the time? Why doesn't her arm go flying off and whatnot? So, like, just no, okay? You're never gonna convince me that makes sense. So, putting that aside. And the other thing would, of course, be back in Season 1, when, again, Legoshi took on the entire Shishigumi in melee form, and even took on the boss in his melee form as well, without any other weapons, and just in duking it out in a hand-to-hand combat, right? Especially now in Season 2, we understand, like, the difference between carnivores that consume meat, which the Shishigumi lions obviously did, versus Legoshi, who obviously didn't. It makes even less sense that Legoshi could have won. Even without knowing all that, I already argued last season that there's absolutely no way a wolf's power is going to be able to go up against the lion, especially for these who actually. There are some people that say, oh, because they grew too complacent and they started using weapons instead of relying on their bodies and whatnot. Dude, a lion's still a lion, okay? But that being said, I'm more willing to forego that for the sake of, okay, this is just your shonen powers, right? So these two are my main gripes with everything that I've seen so far. Everything else, absolutely fantastic. I love the characters. I love the character development. I love how it actually goes through multiple perspectives as well, so that we're not only just going through one and say, okay, Legoshi is the main character, so we gotta do things his way. His way is the correct way. His way is the only way, right? It's not like that. We actually see lots of different perspectives. I do enjoy that from an anime. And what else? The animation, stellar. I love especially the facial expressions. Those are probably my favorite from this in terms of the animation. Like, I know it's not for all this type of animation style, but I do feel like they did a great job here, especially with the facial features and whatnot. The music, absolutely fantastic, of course. And, just overall, a really, really good, solid, and in fact, I would even say pretty damn impressive anime here. So don't get me wrong, I do have my gripes, but if you guys have watched this far, you'll know that I don't really sugarcoat these kind of things. But still, I did enjoy it, and if there is a season 3, absolutely, I will continue watching it, unless, of course, they really go off to the deep end or whatnot. But who knows? I do enjoy this sort of topic, and I do want to see like what actual conclusion they can reach from this, and where Legoshi goes, where Louis goes, and perhaps for a lot of people, more importantly, who Haru eventually ends up with, right? or who Legoshi or Louis eventually ends up with. So anyways, if you guys discovered my channel for the first time through this series, thank you guys, and feel free to leave a like and subscribe. Check out my other content. The spring season is coming up as well. And if not, well, hopefully I can see you guys again someday. This has been Avery. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.